So this is my review of the Glossika language learning, I guess you would call it a system. Yeah, system. And this is like one of my primary tools I'm using now for language learning. I've brought originally I brought the Chinese like 3 years ago when I guess I think his name's Mike Campbell, was trying to really get the Glossika method, I guess, legitimized as far as publication. Never used it, I have, but just the concept interests me. So I brought that. I use the French, Spanish, and I think I also have Russian and Portuguese. So I have quite a few of them. And I'm going to tell you what I use them now for and why I like the program in general. Okay, so first of all, I first started to actually want to use Glossika for French because I kind of felt like I had a ton of, at the time I had a ton of grammar-based knowledge, an okay vocabulary, but I didn't really have a grasp of putting the information into rapid speech. You know, my listening comprehension was complete poop. Okay. I did the whole listening to, I guess, music. I still like music, news, but it was something that wasn't clicking with me. I've made review on this channel about Pimsleur and Osimil. Both great things. Pimsleur is actually, now that I think about it, similar in a lot of ways to Glossika, but there are some key differences. I may do a video later on about Pimsleur versus Glossika, but I'm going to tell you why I choose Glossika. I like Glossika mainly because it gives me that native conversational level of input, and it does it in a way that music and the news can't do. Okay, it allows it to be simple sentences, repeatable sentences, as far as I can, easily hit back up, back up, back up, and re-listen to certain things. It's very well organized, and the vocabulary you get is natural, and something I keep thinking of is usable. You get vocabulary, you get sentence structures that are actually usable, and if you've ever done like a formal language class and you've gone through like formal text, you get a lot of, I won't say shit, but you get a lot of stuff that is really not applicable in a everyday scenario. Kind of speak a little more about the actual input of the language. I like that they break the file structures into kind of like four parts. You have your Glossika mass sentence structure, where they give you like an A, B, and C file. The C file is just the target language. I think the B file is, it says the target language gives you room. No, I'm sorry. It says the sentence in native language. Then it gives you room to kind of speak the target language, and then it gives you the target language. That way, if you're like on a train or just chilling or whatever the case may be, if you have like a set block of time where you're studying, you can really test your mind. And it's enough time to think about it, but it's not enough time to where you're just like, you know, you have to actually allow your brain to get into a nice little groove so you can, you know, produce these tones. Really, it's what they really all are. And then also on the flip side, they have I think it's a Glossika space. Oh, so GSR, Glossika space repetition. That's great. They list them in days, so theoretically you can do them one a day for however many files they give you. I think there's like 300 maybe. I'm not really sure. And that is a way for, you know, if you don't have, I won't say time, but if you don't have the desire to have additional resources, you can just let it play. You know, you need to be a little, you got to be conscious. You have to actually like pay attention, and I would suggest speaking out as well. But it gives you the synthesis at a, I guess, high enough frequency to where you start to really internalize them. So the way they have the days set up, they have like a specific sort of assortment of sentences, sorry, and they repeat throughout that day's lesson. And then, you know, eventually as the days go on, those particular sentences start to like go down, and they start to introduce new ones. And then of course later on, those old sentences that had been like phased out start to come back to get into that review process or review cycle. And to me, that's huge. I think your best bet is to use all the files together. Recently, Glossika came out with, I believe they came out with a list of study schedules, and where they list, you know, like days of the week. I think there's like an 8-week schedule, a 14-week, a 90, you know, whatever. Like it just gives you like the amount of time, and then they lay the files out in a way to where you could achieve, you know, finishing said course in said amount of time. I used that for a little bit, maybe about a month. I guess when it first came out, I tried their way. It's doable, but for my particular schedule and kind of how particular I am about certain things, it didn't work for me exactly, but it did give me a great idea. And that's what we're going into now is how I personally use Glossika.